Take charge of your life. A man, as a general rule, owes very little to what he is born with. A man is what he makes of himself. Alexander Graham Bell. When I was 21, I was broke, living in a small one-room apartment in the middle of a very cold winter and working a construction job during the day. I usually couldn't afford to go out in the evening, so I stayed in my apartment, where at least it was warm. This gave me a lot of time to think. One night, as I sat at my small kitchen table, I had a sudden flash of awareness that changed my life. I realized that everything that happened to me for the rest of my life was going to be up to me. No one else was going to help me. No one was coming to the rescue. I was thousands of miles from home with no intention of returning for a long time. In that moment, I understood that if anything in my life were going to change, it would have to begin with me. If I didn't change, nothing else would change. I was responsible. The great discovery. I still remember that moment. It was like a first parachute jump, both scary and exhilarating. There I was, standing on the edge of life, and I decided to jump. From that moment onward, I accepted that I was in charge of my life. I knew that if I wanted things to be different, I would have to be different. Everything was up to me. I later learned that when you accept complete responsibility for your life, you take a giant step from childhood to adulthood. Sadly, most people never take this step. I have met countless men and women in their 40s and 50s who are still grumbling and complaining about unhappy experiences from years before, still blaming their problems on other people and circumstances. Many people are still angry about something their parents did or didn't do decades ago. They are trapped in the past and unable to break free. Your worst enemy. The greatest enemies of success and happiness are negative emotions of all kinds. Negative emotions hold you down, wear you out, and steal the joy from your life. Since the beginning of time, negative emotions have done more harm to individuals and societies than all the plagues of history. One of your most important goals, if you want to be truly happy and successful, is to free yourself from negative emotions. Fortunately, this can be done if you learn how. The negative emotions of fear, self-pity, envy, jealousy, feelings of inferiority, and ultimately anger are mostly caused by 4 factors. Once you identify and remove these factors from your thinking, your negative emotions will stop automatically. When your negative emotions stop, positive emotions of love, peace, joy, and enthusiasm flow in to replace them, transforming your life for the better, sometimes in a matter of minutes or even seconds. Stop justifying. The first of the 4 root causes of negative emotions is justification. You can only be negative as long as you can justify to yourself and others that you are entitled to be angry or upset for some reason. This is why angry people are continually explaining and elaborating on the reasons for their negative feelings. However, if you cannot justify your negativity, you cannot be angry. For example, suppose someone is laid off from a job due to economic changes and declining sales in the company. The person might feel angry with their boss and justify this anger by listing all the reasons the layoff was unfair. They may even become so incensed that they decide to sue or seek revenge. As long as they continue to justify their negative feelings toward their boss and the company, those negative emotions control them and consume much of their life and energy. However, as soon as they say, well, I've been laid upon, these things happen, it's not personal. People get laid off all the time. I'd better get busy finding a new job. Their negative emotions vanish. They become calm, clear, and focused on their goal and on the steps they can take to re-enter the workforce. The moment they stop justifying, they become a more positive and effective person. Refuse to rationalize and make excuses. The second cause of negative emotions is rationalization. When you rationalize, you attempt to give a socially acceptable explanation for an otherwise socially unacceptable act. You rationalize to explain away or cast a favorable light on something you've done that you feel bad or unhappy about. You excuse your behavior by creating an explanation that sounds good, even though you know you were an active agent in what happened. Sometimes you even create complex explanations to put yourself in the right, suggesting that your behavior was really quite acceptable, all things considered. This rationalizing keeps your negative emotions alive. Rationalization and justification always require that you make someone or something else the source or cause of your problem. You cast yourself as the victim and make the other person or organization the oppressor or the bad guy. Rise above the opinions of others. The third cause of negative emotions is an overconcern or hypersensitivity to how others treat you. For some people, their entire self-image is determined by how others speak to or about them or even look at them. They have little sense of personal value or self-worth apart from others' opinions. When those opinions are negative for any reason, real or imagined, the victim experiences anger, embarrassment, shame, feelings of inferiority, and sometimes even depression, self-pity, and despair. This explains why psychologists say that almost everything we do is to earn the respect of others, or at least to avoid losing it. No one else is responsible. The fourth cause of negative emotions, and the worst of all, is blaming. When I illustrate the negative emotions tree in my seminars, I show the trunk of the tree as the tendency to blame others for our problems. Once you cut down the trunk, all the fruits of the tree, all other negative emotions die immediately, just as when you unplug the Christmas lights and all the lights go out instantly. Responsibility is the antidote. The antidote for all kinds of negative emotions is to accept complete responsibility for your situation. You cannot say the words, "I am responsible," and still feel angry. The very act of accepting responsibility short-circuits and cancels out any negative emotions you may be experiencing. Discovering this simple yet powerful affirmation, "I am responsible," and its instant ability to eliminate negative emotions was a turning point in my life, as it has been for hundreds of thousands of my students. Just imagine, you can free yourself from negative emotions and start taking control of your life simply by saying, "I am responsible," whenever you begin to feel angry or upset. Only when you free yourself from negative emotions by taking complete responsibility can you start setting and achieving goals in every area of your life. Only when you are mentally and emotionally free can you channel your energy and enthusiasm in a positive direction. Without accepting complete personal responsibility, no progress is possible. On the other hand, once you take total responsibility for your life, there are no limits to what you can be, do, and have. Stop blaming others. From now on, refuse to blame anyone for anything past, present, or future. As Eleanor Roosevelt said, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. The comedian Buddy Hackett once said, "I never hold grudges. While you're holding grudges, they're out dancing." From this point forward, refuse to make excuses or justify your behaviors. If you make a mistake, say, "I'm sorry," and focus on fixing the situation. Every time you blame someone else or make excuses, you give away your power. You feel weakened and diminished, and experience negativity and anger within yourself. Refuse to do it. Control your emotions. To keep your mind positive, refuse to criticize, complain about, or condemn other people for anything. Every time you criticize someone, complain about something you don't like, or condemn someone else for something they did or didn't do, you trigger feelings of negativity and anger within yourself. You're the one who suffers. Your negativity doesn't affect the other person at all. Being angry with someone allows them to control your emotions and often the overall quality of your life, even from afar. This is just plain silly. Remember, as Gary Zukov says in his book Seat of the Soul, positive emotions empower, negative emotions disempower. Positive emotions of happiness, excitement, love, and enthusiasm make you feel powerful and confident. Negative emotions of anger, hurt, or blame weaken you, making you hostile, irritable, and unpleasant to be around. Once you decide to accept complete responsibility for yourself, your situation, and everything that happens to you, you can turn confidently toward your work and the affairs of your life. You become the master of your fate and the captain of your soul. Hello, Mr. President. In a study conducted in New York years ago, researchers found that the top 3% of people in every field had a special attitude that set them apart from average performers in their industries. They viewed themselves as self-employed throughout their careers, no matter who signed their paychecks. They saw themselves as responsible for their companies exactly as if they personally owned them. You should do the same. From this moment forward, see yourself as the president of your own personal services corporation. View yourself as self-employed. See yourself as in complete charge of every part of your life and career. Remind yourself that you are where you are and what you are because of what you have done or failed to do. You are very much the architect of your own destiny. You choose, you decide. You have determined your entire life up to now by the choices and decisions you have made or failed to make. If there's anything in your life that you don't like, you are responsible. If there's something that makes you unhappy, it's up to you to take the steps needed to change and improve it so that it is more to your liking. As the president of your own personal services corporation, you are completely responsible for everything you do and for the results of what you do. You are responsible for the consequences of your actions and behaviors. You are where you are and who you are today because you have chosen to be there. In a large sense, you are earning today exactly what you have decided to earn, no more and no less. If you're not satisfied with your current income, decide to earn more. Set it as a goal, make a plan, and get busy doing what you need to do to achieve the income you want. As the president of your own career and life, as the architect of your own destiny, you're free to make your own decisions. You are the boss. You are in charge. Develop your own strategy. Just as the president of a corporation is responsible for the strategy and activities of that corporation, you're also responsible for the personal strategic planning of your life and career. You're responsible for overall management strategy, setting goals, making plans, establishing measures, and performing to achieve results. You're responsible for reaching certain outputs for the quality and quantity of the work you produce and the results you are expected to achieve. As president, you are responsible for marketing strategy, self-promotion, and advancement. You are responsible for creating your image and packaging yourself to sell yourself at the very highest value in a competitive market. You are responsible. You are responsible for your financial strategy, deciding exactly how much of your services you want to sell, how much you want to earn, how quickly you want to grow your income year by year, how much you want to save and invest, and how much you want to be worth when you retire. These numbers are entirely up to you. You are responsible. You are responsible for your people strategy and your relationships, both at home and at work. One piece of advice I give my students is to choose your boss with care. Your choice of a boss will have a major impact on how much you earn, how fast you advance, and how happy you will be at your job. Make new choices, new decisions. Similarly, your choice of a mate and friends will have as much or more to do with your success and happiness than almost any other decisions you make. If you are unhappy with any of your current choices, it's up to you to start taking steps to improve or change them. Finally, as president, you are in complete charge of your personal research and development, training and learning. It's up to you to determine the talents, skills, abilities, and core competencies you will need to earn the income you desire in the months and years ahead. It is then your responsibility to make the investment and take the time to learn and develop these skills. No one is going to do it for you. The unavoidable truth is that no one really cares as much as you do. Become a growth stock. To extend this analogy, see yourself as a company with stock that trades on the market. Is your stock the kind of stock people would invest in, confident that it will continue to grow in value and profitability in the months and years ahead? Are you a growth stock, or has your value leveled off in the marketplace? If you have decided to be a growth stock, what is your strategy for increasing your income 25% to 30% every year, year after year? As the president of your own life, as the spouse or parent in your family, you owe it to the important people in your life to be on a growth curve, to be continually increasing in value, income, and profitability as the years progress. Take the wheel of your own life. From this point forward, see yourself as the master of your own fate. See yourself as completely in charge of your own life. See yourself as the president of your own personal services corporation. View yourself as a powerful, self-determined, and self-directed individual. Refuse to whine and complain about things that happened in the past which cannot be changed. Instead, orient yourself toward the future and think of what you want and where you are going. Above all, focus on your goals. The very act of thinking about your goals makes you positive and purposeful again. Determine your locus of control. There is a large body of psychological literature focused on the concept of locus of control theory. In more than 50 years of research, psychologists have found that your locus of control is the key factor determining your happiness or unhappiness in life. Here's why. Why? A person with an internal locus of control feels that he or she is in complete control of life. This person feels strong, confident, and powerful. He or she is generally optimistic and positive, feeling terrific about life and very much in charge of destiny. Conversely, a person with an external locus of control feels controlled by external factors such as their boss, bills, marriage, childhood problems, or current situation. They feel out of control and, as a result, experience feelings of weakness, anger, fear, negativity, hostility, and disempowerment. The good news is that there is a direct relationship between the amount of responsibility you accept and the amount of control you feel. The more you say, I am responsible, the more of an internal locus of control you develop within yourself, and the more powerful and confident you feel. The golden triangle. There's also a direct relationship between responsibility and happiness. The more responsibility you accept, the happier you become. Responsibility, control, and happiness go hand in hand. The more responsibility you accept, the more control you feel you have. The more control you feel, the happier and more confident you become. When you feel positive and in control of your life, you set bigger and more challenging goals for yourself and have the drive and determination to achieve them. You will feel as if you hold your life in your own hands and can make it whatever you decide it to be. It is in your hands. The starting point of goal setting is realizing that you have virtually unlimited potential to be, have, or do anything you want in life if you simply want it badly enough and are willing to work long and hard enough to achieve it. The second part of goal setting is to accept complete responsibility for your life and everything that happens to you with no blaming and no excuses. With these two concepts clearly in mind that you have unlimited potential and are completely responsible, you are ready to move to the next step, which is to begin designing your ideal future. Take charge of your life. Identify your biggest problem or source of negativity in life today. In what ways are you responsible for this situation? See yourself as the president of your own company. How would you act differently if you owned 100% of the shares? Resolve today to stop blaming anyone else for anything and instead accept complete responsibility in every area of your life. What action should you be taking? Stop making excuses and start making progress. Imagine that your favorite excuses have no basis in fact and act accordingly. See yourself as the primary creative force in your own life. You are where you are and what you are because of your own choices and decisions. What should you change? Resolve today to forgive anyone who has ever hurt you in any way. Let it go. Refuse to discuss it again. Instead, get so busy working on something important to you that you don't have time to think about it again.